for today's video, I wanted to talk to you about how I cleared my skin. We're going to talk about emotions and mental health. Now, if you have not seen the main video, you need to go watch it right now, and it's how I cleared my skin. In that video, I said that I was going to go in depth on those different things that I did to clear my skin, and that's what this video is. So if you haven't seen it, add this to your watch later and go check it out now. But I want to talk to you about how I changed my mindset, how I changed my emotions, how those had a direct impact on my stress level, and how that has helped me decrease my inflammation and help cure my acne. So to start off, I have to kind of confess that I have always been a very self-deprecating person. I developed acne in the 3rd grade, and I thought that my appearance is what made me valuable. I always had a negative back talk in my head. I was always cutting myself down, comparing myself to other people. And I would spend 3 hours, to get ready during high school, 2 hours every morning in front of a mirror putting on makeup. And then throughout the day, I was just worried, is my acne showing? Is my oil coming through? And those negative thoughts definitely took a toll on me. They amplified the voices and the negative things that other people said to me, and then they created their own negative dialogue. And of course that spun into mental health issues. Of course that spun into things such as picking and other forms of self-harm. That really turned into a lot of negative experiences in my life that I have learned and grown from. But that negative self-talk was so harmful, and I lived with it for every single day. One of the ways that I started to really help my acne was to be kinder to myself, to decrease those stress hormones and to decrease that stress in general. Stress has a scientific link to acne. The way that stress scientifically works is that when you have chronic low-level stress, such as this negative self-talk or negative emotions, or if you have major stress, such as going through an assault or losing someone that you love, or going through something really difficult that's stressful for you, those stress hormones directly impact the hormones on your body, which can aggravate acne and create a system that is out of balance that favors acne and causes more of it. So for instance, when an organism is stressed, such as a human, such as me, there is an increase in cortisol. This increase in cortisol is a stress hormone, and other hormones such as androgens get increased. An androgen is a hormone that can turn into estrogen or into testosterone. And when stress is produced in the body, it stops a chemical called the stress hormone binding globulin from doing its job. And I know that's like a big fancy word, but the SHBG is basically an important chemical that can help fight against acne. And when you're stressed, that stops getting produced. When those androgens are produced, you have more testosterone and more estrogen, which can have a direct impact on how much oil your skin produces. And if your skin produces more oil, and if your skin is inflamed, because stress is inflammatory, that is a breeding ground for bacteria and acne, especially cystic hormonal acne that happens here on the jawline and is very, very painful, or in other areas of the body. And I have to be honest, I lived so much of my life so stressed, constantly thinking about what other people were thinking of me. I've had panic attacks, I have had anxiety attacks, and those are all very, very taxing to the body because hormones control everything you do. And when we destroy that natural balance in our body, of course that's going to reflect in how our skin reacts. So something that I started doing was practicing a little bit more self-love when I had those negative thoughts, trying to make them positive and be kinder to myself. I also took up relaxation techniques such as yoga and meditation, and I actually got rid of stressful, toxic people in my life. Now, we will talk about toxic relationships, and I'm sure we all have them. They could be family or they could be friends. But the people that you surround yourself with have a direct impact on your quality of life. And if you are not surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, who bring you up, who inspire you, who make you feel good about yourself, you're not going to live a happy and productive life. If you're surrounding yourself with people who compare you, who judge you, or who you judge and compare yourself to, that is not what's going to make you happy and stress-free. So when it comes down to it, how I have tried to kind of work on my hormones and stress, this video kind of combines hormones and stress together. But finding ways to take care of myself and practice that self-love have been quintessential. So for instance, there was a time where I had to put papers on my mirror. I had to cover up my mirror so that I wouldn't look in them, and instead I would write a positive affirmation like, "You are beautiful, you have great eyes." A paper that says, "Your purpose is to help others feel beautiful about themselves," or "You are valuable. Your goal is to spread kindness today." And just changing those little things step by step in my mind actually helped to change my outlook on life and my stress and inflammation levels. Our brain is amazing because it has this thing called neuroplasticity. And I know that sounds crazy, but basically what it boils down to is that it means that our brains can change with our thoughts. The actual structure and the wiring of our brains can and does change. And when we focus on the positivity, our lives actually become more positive. Think about it. Everything you see every day has a silent narration, which is what you say in your own head, your opinions, your thoughts. If that's always negative, you're gonna have a pretty bad outlook on life. But if that's always positive, you'll find gratitude and happiness and abundance and joy and love in absolutely everything. And you have the ability to go from one to the other. And I know that because I did. And it took those small steps, but that's what I was doing. I also went out of my way to help other people. And especially when I started traveling back in 2012, when I started helping other people, doing different things, donating my time, donating my money, I realized this world is a lot bigger than what I look like. There's a lot of other things that need attention. And when I started focusing on those bigger things, I felt like I had a purpose. I had a purpose, and it felt good to help others feel good about themselves. And my physical appearance had nothing to do with that. And just kind of coming to that realization really helped me get over my insecurities, my physical insecurities when it came to acne. And then when I got over those physical insecurities, my stress levels decreased, and all of a sudden acne didn't control my life anymore, which was amazing. So something that I've done to clear my skin that has really helped recently has been yoga and meditation. I've been doing yoga for probably 8 years. No, since high school. Wow, I've been doing yoga for over 10 years, but it was always more of a fitness thing. It was like, how far can you bend? How many calories can you burn? Like, how much can you tone up? And recently, yoga has taken a transformation. Ever since I went to India, I learned a bit more about yoga, and I've been really, really applying that. And yoga for me is a new way of experiencing being in your body or being in your mind. And it's a time to be quiet, because we always have this chatter going on, these opinions, these ideas, this constant dialogue. It's about turning that off and just being okay with the way things are, saying, I'm going to take 15 minutes to do yoga or to meditate. Nothing else matters. All of those problems, all of those joys, all of those tasks, all of those opportunities will be there when I get back. But this is a time to center myself. And finding that balance, finding yoga as not an exercise per se, but as a way to calm myself has been monumental. And then over the past 6 months, including meditation, focusing on the positive, focusing on nothing, and allowing my body that time to heal has been unreal. And it probably sounds a little bit weird if you've never tried it. I totally get that. But once you start doing it, it gives me a kind of fulfillment and a kind of positivity and just this kind of energy that I cannot describe. And as you know, I'm a mermaid. I get lost swimming in the ocean for hours at a time. That's something else that I've focused on, and I've said, if this is something that I love, if I love being in the trees and swimming in the ocean so much, I'm gonna give myself that time to relax and do that. And so when I actually create my schedule, I put in that short amount of personal time first to take care of my emotional health so that I am emotionally stable and happy and have lower stress and inflammation levels. And then I put my due dates and my deadlines after that. Yoga really has been monumental for me, and so has meditation. And there actually has been studies, multiple studies, who studied the minds of yogis and saw how they changed neuroplasticity. And again, this is a practice that's been around for thousands of years, but how come no one's ever really spoken about it or talked about it? because there's no money behind it. And only recently has science kind of said, hey, let's look at the science behind this, because so many people say that it works. Does it actually work? Let's look at the science, because I'm all about the science. But just because there is no science on a matter doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Perhaps it just hasn't been done yet. So that to me has been huge. And then one of the other things is cutting toxic people out of my life. We've all had them. There was actually a breakup that I went through that ended up being a really positive thing for me. That relationship was not ever going to reach its full potential, and I was never going to reach my full potential in that relationship. But of course, when I love, boom, I'm in deep. So obviously I could never see that. And a beautiful analogy is a balloon. If you're constantly trying to fill up a balloon that has a tiny hole in it, that balloon will never reach its full potential. That balloon will never get to where it's supposed to be. And that's what a toxic relationship is like. How can you identify a toxic relationship? If you feel that your energy is drained, if you feel less about yourself, if someone is cutting you down or crossing a line of non-negotiation, if someone does something that is not okay, that is when a relationship becomes toxic. And sometimes that's hard, because sometimes those are people in your life. A friend of mine, Nur, who's on YouTube, I would highly recommend you check her out. She's a beauty YouTuber, but she also talks a lot about some of the life stuff that we all deal with. So I will link you to her video, but she created a beautiful analogy of toxic people. And we're gonna swear here, but it's about toxic people shitting on your life. And the summary of it is that your life is a party. It is awesome, and you have the ability to invite or disinvite whoever you want. There's a bunch of people at your party having a good time. If you have one guest that comes into your party and shits in the middle of your living room, that's not cool. And the shitting is the equivalent of breaking a non-negotiable or doing something that is not okay or that crosses one of your lines, a toxic action. So of course, you're human, you forgive them, whatever. But it's the next day in your life, okay? There's a lot of people because your life is a party. That person comes in again and takes a shit on the middle of your floor. Well, at this point, the other guests kind of start to notice because it starts to stink. And there are how many billions of people in the world, so these guests leave because they want to find another party. And you're stuck cleaning up this person's shit. And this entire example goes to show that if you have a toxic person in your life, it doesn't affect just you, it affects all of the people around you. Because when you're so busy dealing with this crap, nobody else wants to smell that or hear about it or deal with it. And it really takes a toll on others. And when you have this toxic person in your life, it decreases your quality of life. You are constantly dealing with crap. And this can be really difficult because sometimes this is a person you're in a relationship with. Sometimes this is a person you have a business relationship with, a good friend, or even a family member. And one of the quotes that Nur was saying is that, yes, blood is thicker than water. Well, guess what? Shit is thicker than blood. So that person ain't going anywhere. But at the same time, you are the controller of the doors to your party. You get to say who does and doesn't come into your life, and you deserve to only have people around you that make you feel good about yourself. And if someone is coming in and who is toxic to you, you have every single right to get them out of your life or create distance and space. And especially when it comes to your health, how can you be the best person to be in a relationship with, the best person to be friends with, the best person to enhance the lives of others when you're all wrapped up in someone else's BS? In order for you to live your life the best and to benefit other people, the people that you love around you the best, you can't be associating with toxic people. And so if there's a toxic person in your life, you have every right to create distance. You have every single right to say this is not okay. You have every single right to draw that line and to remove that toxicity. And doing that will really decrease stress levels and inflammation levels because stress has a direct response to your body's inflammation. And when I started cutting those people out of my life, I noticed a huge difference in my skin and my overall body. And I mean, for me, this was relationships in which I felt taken advantage in. This was friendships in which I didn't feel inspired. This was business relationships in which I felt that my morals and my values were being compromised. And I've said it before, at the end of the day, you are the person who has to go to sleep with you at the end of the night. If you are not comfortable with your decisions or actions, that's on you. If you are not comfortable with the people in your life, you need to do something about that because you need to go to sleep safe and sound with your actions and your decisions. We cannot control the decisions of other people. Don't even get me started on how many times I've been in relationships with people thinking, oh, I can help them, I can fix them. I can be the mom, right? No, you are not responsible for anyone else's actions. I had an ex who self-harmed and blamed me for their eating disorder and their issues. And I took that really personally for a long time, because when you hear that you've been the cause of someone else's pain, someone that you love so dearly, God, that tears you up inside. But it wasn't until I got older and I realized that person's actions are their own choice. I am not responsible for anyone else's actions. I can be a catalyst, I can play positive or negative roles in other people's lives, but I am not responsible for something someone else does. And that also goes the opposite way. Nobody else is responsible for my actions. Only I am responsible for my actions and my morals. And if I have morals and values, it's my obligation to either own up to those or not. And I'm the kind of person who feels guilty. If there's a stressful or upsetting situation, let's say somebody dies, some people will react differently. Some people will get angry. Some people will get frustrated and start blaming other people. Some people will get guilty, and that's me. I get guilty and I get sad. No matter what the situation is, I feel a lot of guilt, even if I know that that's not my fault. And that guilt obviously responds with a lot of stress. And just kind of understanding that pathway in my own mind and that pathway in my own psychology has really helped me to give myself some healing, to give myself some forgiveness, to realize everything that we do is temporary, to be honest. Who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow? And as long as we do our best, that's what matters. And I know that I'm gonna feel guilty about certain things, but at least if I identify it, I can try to mitigate it and try to, minimize it so that way it doesn't control my life. So when it comes to my emotional health, I have obviously come a long way, especially when it comes to like picking and self-harm. Those were two issues that I really, really dealt with that I haven't spoken about a lot. I've done a picking video, but that's about it. And obviously, that's creating a lot of emotional trauma, a lot of stress, but it's also creating a lot of physical stress that your body has to heal, which just contributes to inflammation and contributes to an acne-ridden Cassandra. So when it comes down to it, that is kind of the changes that I've made to my emotional health, realizing that I deserve to have people who love and support me, who I feel good around. And I cannot tell you how my life has changed in miraculous ways when certain people leave your life or when you do things to stand up for yourself. And being a guilty person, I have had a lot of issues with the feeling of being taken advantage of. And if you want to talk about that in another video, I think that we should do that if you want it. Because feeling taken advantage of is a feeling, and only I am responsible for what I feel. Nobody else is responsible for my feelings. My feelings are things that I control. And coming to terms with that and understanding that I'm kind of sort of responsible for if I feel taken advantage of or not has been huge in me maintaining and building beautiful relationships and surrounding myself with people that I love and just understanding why I function the way I do and how to best function in a compassionate way to other people and to myself. So I've been on this floor for probably like 8 hours. I've been on this floor for so long. Time to do a stretch. I love stretches. Ooh. I hope that you guys have learned a lot from this series. We've talked about hormones in pretty much all of these other videos. Sleep is so important to my acne. We've spoken about so much, and if you have not seen the video on food, if you have not seen the video on the products or the toxins, please go check that out. I'm honestly really, really tired, so I was gonna film a video on hormones, but maybe we'll save that and do that as like a science video. So I really hope that you guys learned something. This is pretty much how I cleared my skin. So what's next? I was actually thinking of creating a free PDF that kind of is like an acne chart so that you can chart your own acne and kind of implement some of these things that have made a difference for me. Let me know if you would want that. I also toyed with the idea of making a free acne book talking about what I've learned in my personal experience and combining that with scientific evidence. But then again, the time that would create and then also to invest all that time and make it free would be hard. So it's like, should I just do a PDF? And then I was also thinking like, I would love to help people. Like, in person, but I do not have an MD degree yet, so where do I go from here? So what does the future hold? A lot of cool science videos, that's for sure, but leave a comment here and let me know what you've taken away from this or what you've learned, because I really hope that it has changed your perspective or helped you in some way. I know that these are all very difficult issues to talk about, especially in my own life. These bring up a lot of past things that I've never really discussed, but when it comes to having clear skin, these are the things that worked for me. And again, people have always said like, oh my God, Cassandra, don't you feel amazing now that you have clear skin? Aren't you on top of the world? And yes, it feels great, but it really doesn't feel that different, because back when I didn't have clear skin, I made it my mission to love myself. I said, I don't care if I have terrible acne, I'm going to live every day finding value in what I do and helping to serve the world and others. I'm going to give myself a purpose. And through that, I created self-esteem and confidence and beauty through learning it and earning it. And when I created that, God, that's just a light that can't be dimmed. And so that now that I have clear skin, yeah, it's great, but I don't feel any different, because I still know that I have value as a human and that I do amazing things. And I'm pretty cool, even on the days that I'm not so cool because I'm a nerd, but I own it. And regardless of acne, no skin condition can change who I am on the inside or what I have to uniquely offer the world. So that being said, I hope you guys know how much I love you. I want to thank you for being a part of this journey with me, and I want to thank you for your patience. I know that you've been so patient while I test out my hypotheses and see if they're right or wrong. And where I wait to get out of certain obligations, because like I said, I would rather die being honest than being rich. I'm not going to sell myself out and hurt other people in the process when I know what that's felt like. And I get it, everyone wants to make a buck, and that's why other people were pushing me to do some of those things, but I'm sorry, I'm the one who goes to bed with me at the end of the night. I need to be comfortable with my actions, my decisions, and follow my own moral compass. So that being said, give this video a thumbs up if you learned something. Let me know if you have other questions, what other videos you want me to create, what you want to have a conversation about. If anybody wants to get together and have like an acne meetup and just talk about our feelings, because all I want to do in life is like give hugs and eat chocolate and make people feel good on the inside, okay? And, I do think, where do I go from here? Do I continue pursuing a dermatology degree? Do I try to write an acne book? Do I actually help other people with their acne and create a video series about it? I've done that in the past, called Cassandra to the Rescue. Those girls are some of my best friends now, and that project was one of the most amazing dream projects I've ever done in my life. And if I would have the opportunity to do that again, do I do that again? Like, where do we go from here? But you're a huge part of this journey. You are the foundation of this journey. So post in the comments, let me know, and know that I love you. Regardless of what you're going through, I want you to know that I care and value you so much. You are amazing, you are loved, and you are beautiful, regardless what other people say or what you say to yourself in front of a mirror. I really hope that you know that. And I really hope that you know that from my heart to yours, I want you to always be beautiful. And do your best to live beautifully inside and out. Help others, learn along the way, and yeah, I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.